Yeah, I'm just kind of waiting on a date for that. There really isn't anyone else. So last time I spoke with the UFC, is they were just trying to figure out a date where they can make us a main event for that, which I know is a little bit difficult considering they're like traveling all around the world now and stuff. But yeah, they want to make it a main event somewhere. They just don't know like the timeline. I'm assuming they're waiting to figure out when O'Malley and Merab is going to get booked, and then probably book us a couple weeks before that would be my guess.
How you like that matchup, you and Umar?
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I spent like 10 weeks getting ready for him already for the last fight that we had, and I was really excited. Like, you know how you never really know how you feel about something until it's kind of like taken away from you. When I got the call that Umar had to pull out of the fight for whatever reason he had to, I remember being like genuinely really bummed, because I feel like I really get a kick out of like problem solving this sport. Like I really get a kick out of like the technical side. I get a kick out of the strategic side. Like the physical piece, I think everyone can kind of do. There's better athletes, not as good athletes, all of that stuff. But for the most part, I think that we're within like 10 percentiles of each other. But I get like a real kick on figuring out how to beat these really good athletes and how to beat these guys. Like the Nurmagomedov family has, zero losses. Like I was really excited for the challenge to actually, go out and figure out that problem, because he does have a super unique style to him too. And I felt like I was like really, I had like the answer to the problem, and I just had to go show the problem. And then obviously the fight got canceled. So I'm super excited about it, man. I obviously, because he is such a unique style, I can't go over too much of, like the ways that I want to approach it. But man, like I'm pumped for it. And like I said, like just him coming from a really long lineage of family members, and just like the Dagestani culture in general is really cool to me, and in the way that they breed combat athletes. So I'm really excited to just test myself against that.
I love that. Damn, train for 10 weeks and then you have to pull out. God.
Yeah, I know.
I'll be so pissed. Like, can I fight somebody else? Because at the end of the day, that's when we make our money, right? It's like you train for 10 weeks, you're expecting a paycheck after that 10-week camp, and next he pulls out, and it's like now you're going to have to wait even further, because I'm sure that's the matchup you want, because that's probably for the number one contender spot in order to fight the winner of Merab versus Sugar Sean O'Malley. How the hell are you staying motivated? Like, obviously you did 10 weeks of hard camp, then he pulled out. Did you just say, okay, I'm going to take, 2 to 3 weeks off? Or did you stay in the gym, keep on working, stay in the lab? Like, how did you cope with that? Because I've done it before where, I was about to fight Ray Borg in Canada. And next thing you know, I got a phone call and they said, stop cutting weight. I was like, why? And he was like, he's not going to make the weight. And I was like, what the fuck? And he got sick. And I'm like, well, this is bullshit. And he goes, you're going to fight him 4 or 5 weeks later. I was like, well, that sucks. I'm at 128 pounds. I guess I got to blow back up and blow back down. So for me, it gets frustrating, right? So I can only imagine for you doing 10, dedicating 10 weeks to this guy. And next thing you know, he's like, hey, I got to back out. How did you cope with that when your body is almost peaking? Did you get to the point where you're about to peak, or were you just like, oh, I'm just going to chill?
No, I was pretty peaked. So yeah, man. I mean, that's like having the Olympics around the corner, and then they're like, hey, the Olympics got canceled.